In Colorado?
No.
I don't know where it was at.
Hey y'all. Ain't nobody
Oh,
here yet. I don't know what I'm saying hey y'all for when I see somebody pop up.
oh, what? Amber normally does that countdown, so I was like, "What? We hung?"
Listen, I don't know what she be doing. I just went live because she ain't here. She said she running a couple minutes late. All right,
Okay.
2 viewers. Hey y'all. We just chilling right now, waiting to see who come on through. Welcome to the live clinical cookout.
I think
Should look.
maybe one of the viewers is me.
Oh Lord, probably. Probably. That's usually how I am too. I'm usually one that we got 3 now. Let me see.
It's probably me, you, and Keisha. No, I'm just
I
playing.
ain't on yet.
I'm
All
not
right.
on there. I'm not on
So
there.
it's not. It's you and 2. Ain't nobody here yet. I don't know what I'm saying. Hey, y'all. Oh Lord, let me turn my volume down.
I was like, "What is that?"
Hi, Morgan. Hello, hello. We usually give it a few minutes for people to show up. You know people be running late.
But before people show up, we do need to start dissecting this teacher thing because
Yeah.
I mean, we might as well dissect it. Everybody that's seen it, we might as well dissect it once they come on through. It's a lot we can talk about that's going on in the media and that tied directly to mental health in our community. Keish, where you go? Did she say dang it?
okay, so what now what happened? Explain to me like I'm slow. What
Okay,
happened?
so basic what happened. The teacher asked the student to give her cell phone because the cell phone was a distraction. I guess she must have been on it. I don't know that context, but she asked for her cell phone. The
Okay.
student apparently didn't want to give her cell phone. I'm not giving you my cell phone again. I don't know if that was what was said, but she didn't want to give her the cell phone. And so the teacher went and took the cell phone and put it at the desk, said you can have it back after class. Again, that's what I'm assuming. Well, the girl, where the video starts, is the girl basically is telling teacher, "You gonna give me my phone back?" And she walks behind the desk to get the phone. But in the process, she's in the teacher's personal space, so the teacher kind of tries to push her back. She swung off on the teacher, so the teacher took her to the ground.
Okay. Let me say something about that because I feel like people are missing the nuances of that video. That teacher, and this is in no way, shape, or form. First of all, let me be clear here: teachers deserve to be paid more. Teachers deserve respect, and
Yeah.
they've been going through it for the last literally 3 years. And right now, Congress is making them seem like they're inadequate at doing their jobs,
Yes.
and it's not fair to them, and they shouldn't be doing that. However, however, that video showed that that lady is twice her size. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
Helen,
Hey, Helen.
twice her size. Booty bumped her out of the way twice. You know how somebody like booty bump you? Sis got hips and ass. And she booty bumped that girl twice. And then when she turned around, because she went to get on the phone to call whoever, she was standing like this as if she was going to hit that girl. So
Now, see,
your automatic defense is to hit back.
I didn't see that. I didn't see where
Yeah.
she turned like that. All I
Yeah.
saw was the booty bump, but the booty bump I can
Yeah.
accept because you still can't come into my personal space. That's not okay.
Here's the thing. To me, you are the adult first. If they started recording right when that fight started, that means that there was time for intervention. And it is clear that there's no rapport built between that teacher and that student. And I'm going to
Well, it was
assume that that
substitute.
student or substitute, okay, it was a substitute, then that makes sense. That makes
Yep.
sense because I'm like, there's no way there's no rapport is built. But I feel like as the adult first, you have to back up. If she was not respecting your rules, you should took your butt down to that office and said she's being removed from my class because she is not following the rules. I've asked her to put her cell phone away and she didn't. So we gonna call your mama because you know how black women act when it come to education. We be all the way up to school.
No, I don't know if I agree, Keish.
I'm just saying we would skirt all the way up to the schoolhouse and to make sure, like, hey, you're not paying attention, you're not doing what you're supposed to. She should have let the parent handle that.
Mm-hmm.
And there could have been some intervention, and she chose not to. And I don't like the celebration of beating up a teenager on social media. I don't like that. And our
Okay,
people been
but
celebrating that.
And see,
you
I'm
know
not
what?
celebrating her doing that. That's not what I'm
Mhm.
celebrating. There were several things, there were several steps missed by that substitute teacher. The second she said, I'm not giving you the phone, admin should have been called. Okay, well, now you are being a distraction. You have to be removed from the class. But I've been talking to some teachers, and one of my close friends that's a teacher in New Orleans, she said, I wish it were that easy to just say, call admin to remove the disruptive student from the class.
I've worked in a school setting, so I know what it's like. What it's like. I've been in behavioral schools before.
Yeah.
You have to regulate yourself first. She wanted to get in a power struggle, which I think is a lot of issue in our community, that we feel like we got to be in a power struggle. She wanted to get in a power struggle with this student, and that's what happened. Now, I'm not condoning what the student did. I'm not condoning that at all. She was wrong. She still needed to be punished. She still needed to get in trouble. And to be honest, removed from the class. I'm all for that. But as the adult, the way we treat Black girls anyway, and for our community to sit online and say, yeah, we would have beat her A. Any other time, y'all don't want Black girls treated like that. So now all of a sudden that this child has this moment of inappropriate decision making, you as the adult should have made a better decision.
I agree. And
that's just my opinion.
So let's think about it now. Okay. So for the ladies who just got on, first of all, hey Morgan Janae, hey Helen Brown, hey Soror, Tashita Antwine. Let's talk about mental health for a minute. Emotions get high. Sure. What happens? Fight, flight, or freeze.
That's what I said. We remove the element of humanity from people when we say she's the adult. I know that, and yes, she should have handled it better. But one, she was a substitute teacher, so no report bill. Yeah. Two, there shouldn't even be a power struggle between a teenager and an adult. We have to really look at the accountability of teenagers, kids, parents. Why is your child even in the mindset to feel they should buck up against a teacher? Why? Why do they feel that's okay? There should never have been a power struggle. Now, the teacher was dead wrong. I said that in my videos. I do not agree with what she did, but I understand it because it kills me when people say teachers, nurses, therapists, blah, blah, blah. Y'all have to do better. It's up to you to be the professional. It takes away our humanity. Like Shug said, if somebody buck at me, my initial reaction is fight or flight. The cortisol is going regardless of what the
fight, flight, or freeze. Because remember, in fight, immediately you feel attacked. So if you lose all sensibilities of this child is, how old was she? 14?
I was like 14, 15.
This is a teenager coming at me. All you think of is, I have to do something. Your body reacts. Yep. So what happens if that teacher's mind reacted and then her body reacted? What background might she come from? Does she come from a background where she has to defend herself, where she's grown up having to defend herself? I grew up having to defend myself. And so immediately it's kicking in. Or did she grow up in a non-confrontational background where she's like, okay, this kid is coming at me, but I'm going to freeze or I'm not going to do anything. So maybe her mind went into overload. There's a teenager coming at me, unruly, and this girl thinks she can whoop me.
Yeah, I wish I could agree, y'all, but I don't want the same excuse to be happening when it's a white teacher. I don't want the same excuse when it's a teacher that feeling like they threatened by Black boys. I don't want that same excuse, and I'm not taking it.
I agree. That's why I brought up the idea of the village. We get so many people. So I hear so many parents in the Black community say, what happened to the village? Y'all happened to the village. Because when I grew up, a teacher, the lady down the street, and anybody could reprimand and correct a child, and it was respected. Now it's not respected. Now you want the village to support you, but you don't want the village to correct your child. And that's a problem. If you want the village, you have to take everything that comes with the village. And my thing is, I agree with you, Keish. I really do. I don't want this to be like, oh, every teacher got the right to put their hands on a student. But I also looked into how many teachers and staff have been attacked by students. There was a 6-year-old who shot a teacher. There's 2 teachers right now in critical condition for being attacked by students. That's a problem. So now teachers got to fear, oh, it could be a school shooting and somebody could come in here and shoot me, but I also might have to, like a kid might buck at me. Right. That's a problem. Like, I don't want to go into work on edge like that.
Right. And I agree. And I totally agree with that. I do think that what you guys are bringing up are the nuances. And I agree. There needs to be nuances. And I was only speaking on, they immediately jumped on the teacher's side when she had provoked her literally twice before that.
I ain't on her side.
People miss that part and they only jump to, oh, well, she swung on her. Well, yeah, because she already got booty bumped twice before that, where the teacher could have been like, hey, I'm not taking that. Hey, let's walk outside. Let's do this. And I'm going to assume, and I will say this, I know that teachers are not therapists. I've been in a school before, and teachers are asked to carry a lot of stuff that they should not be carrying, period. But I also feel like the parent needs to be held responsible. That's number one. Because like you said, what is your kid even doing in here to be disrespecting this teacher, first of all? Second of all, what is it about the phone that she need? Is it an emergency to call you? There needed to be some sort of intervention with the parent. But I am not going to sit on the internet and celebrate a child being whooped by an adult. No. It's just not something I'm going to do. I'm not.
And
that's valid. That's what
they were doing. Like, oh yeah, people are making skits out of it. Well, that she needed to get her butt whooped. Like, why would you want to continue the cycle in our community? Why would you want to do that?
And it continues because I'm gonna be real. It's some parents. I've seen parents go up to the high schools and middle schools acting a fool. So now I see why your child act a fool.
Right.
You have no respect. Like these parents are not trying to be in synergy with teachers. They actually side with my mother would have never, unless she knew that I was wrong, my mother was not going to just side with me automatically over a teacher. She wasn't. Now you have people who feel like teachers are lying about what students are doing. Teachers aren't telling the truth. I believe my child too, but that can go far. Like, let's think about people who believe their child when they've committed a crime. You love your child, but your child still did what they did.
Right.
So Elijah said parents are not parenting, and many of these kids, parents are not parenting, and many of these kids have no respect for adults.
So let me answer that, because I went to a behavioral health conference the other day, and they said the same thing about how parents are going around saying that the kids don't respect parents, and they're like, the same thing that y'all going through, like us as adults, kids are going through the same thing. So if you see adults not acting right, what makes you think kids is going to act right? But we shift it on the kids like, oh, these kids are bad. Well, who the hell do you think they getting it from? They getting it from the parents. And the other lady said, she's like, be careful how you talking about teens, because the teens are the ones that's going to be deciding the laws in the future. They the ones who are going to be deciding your Social Security. They the ones that's going to be deciding certain things for you. So you better watch what you're saying.
And so I like that you said that. I went to I went to the volunteer appreciation thing, like the luncheon the other day, and so one of my sorors, she's a lawyer, and she started up this program where if you get in trouble, your peers, so all other teenagers, one is a judge, some are the jury, one is the defense attorney, and one of them is the prosecutor, and they have a whole trial. And then they start talking about consequences and stuff, and whatever sentence that happens, they really enact that sentence. And it's just a crazy program, because it's teaching them accountability. It's teaching them to like, okay, let me sit on all other sides of the law. So even if you were the criminal at one point in time, you can still have some redemption and be the lawyer or be the judge. And I thought that was crazy, because that's what our community, I think, is missing, is that kind of accountability.
You know what, Shug? You know what that reminds me of? It's different, but it still reminds. Remember when we were in high school and we had Power of One, where your peers, you talk to your other peers? Because what people don't realize is at that age, developmentally, their peers are their biggest, like that's who they are most influenced by. The parents are no longer the biggest influence in a teenager's life. It's their peers. So if their peers hold them accountable, that's different. So I definitely think that's a dope program. And I also want to backtrack and say, there are parents that aren't parenting right, but then there are parents who are trying their hardest and trying to put in interventions and trying to be in connection with the teachers. I'm going to use myself, personal story. We've had behavioral issues with our oldest son. He does not come from a home where he is taught to be disrespectful to an adult. He did not learn that here. He's trying to impress his friends. And that's problem. So I'm in communication with his teacher. We email and talk all the time. She'll call me in a minute and say, here, I'm gonna put Elijah on the phone, and I'll talk to him while he's in school.
And I think it should be like that.
That's what it is. Like, that's what you got to do.
I think it should be like that.
Hey, Auntie Amber, we just been talking. We acknowledge that you popped in all late.
Y'all good? I don't know what situation y'all talking about. That's why I'm just like, I'm
so I can hop in
on
the substitute
whatever.
Jumping on
the teacher and a teacher and a student, an African American teacher, an African American female girl got into a physical fight at school, and it was recorded. And I personally did not agree with how our community basically had the conversation around it. And I just don't believe in, fighting a kid. That's just not what I believe in. And I believe our community has an issue with power struggles because we always want to be in power because we can't be in power in the real world. So we got to take that out on our kids, and we got to say who tough and who ain't. And I just don't agree with that approach. And maybe because I'm a therapist.
I don't believe in fighting kids. I really don't. But I also know that there are a lot of kids that will literally continue to buck up. I've seen it. So then what do you do? Because at the end of the day, like Suge said, fight or flight, I'm going to protect myself.
I knock a kid clean out.
You know what? Sit back.
I can no
sit back.
None of that.
Seriously.
And she would. She would.
But listen, I'm going to tell y'all this. I don't believe that, you should be the one that's like, oh, let me fight this kid and I'll fight a kid and I'll do this and all that. But when you have a teenager coming at you, that teenager has a body, that teenager has more strength than you. And let's just call it what it is, than they prime. And if they're ready to throw down with you, when they throw that first punch, I don't think that my body is going to go to this, or I didn't believe in fighting a kid. I think that they're going to be floored, and then we're going to be talking about my emotional regulation later on.
Natural
reaction. That's just because flight, or freeze. The thing is, when you have these emotions and you're coming at people, you automatically assume that this person is going to be afraid of you, or that you're going to buck up on them. And we're talking about teenagers, like maybe 14 through 18. You're assuming that you can come at this person and that you're going to beat them down. You don't know the background that they have. Teachers have PTSD. People have been through things throughout their lifetime where they will react. So it really depends on the person. Me, I've had to be reactive.
Yeah.
If a teenager coming at me, now I don't know about this situation, but when you hit me, I don't know that I'm going to be able to keep all my sensibilities. I think I have a job. I have to de-escalate. I think I would try to de-escalate before it even got there, because what you want to do is you want to be able to de-escalate. And as the adult, you should be able to de-escalate the situation, or you should be able to get out of the way. But when it really, really gets down to the nitty-gritty and it goes down, I don't know. You don't know how your body will react. Your body will betray you sometimes.
Yeah,
I agree with that. The problem is that you risking your license to get in a power struggle with a teen. Like, sis ain't gonna have no job.
But your license doesn't remove that you're human. That's what Suge is saying.
I understand that part. What I'm saying is that we're all doctors, right? Or have some sort of higher license. What are we going to do first before somebody at least come at us? We're going to try to de-escalate.
We got to de-escalate.
That's all I was saying with her doing that. There was 2 opportunities to do that before it got physical. Now, if there was a point where she was like hovering over her and like, hitting her, and the lady wasn't escalating or none of that, that's different. Totally different. We have a totally different conversation.
That's funny because somebody posted another video of a student coming at a teacher, and that teacher did try to de-escalate. She literally walked to the door, walked out the room to go get another teacher, but this girl followed her and literally started boom, 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 boom. I would have floored her.
That's different. That's different. I feel like that's a different scenario. Specifically with this. Now, I do understand what Sugar's saying, because if somebody following me to the door and I'm trying to get out the way, then at this point we rumbling.
So Miss Neek says
old girl. Like
Miss Neek is actually a teacher, and she says she's right on time.
Yes, she's
right on time. We have to understand the child's triggers, because I talked about that today. Understand. People don't realize it's a poem about a pencil. Bring it up.
Well, do her a favor. Answer her questions first.
We have to understand what child's triggers are.
Okay,
that's what I was thinking.
That's what I'm saying.
She said, "Do you have a relationship with that child?"
Oh no. In this case, she didn't. It was a substitute teacher. So in this particular case, that substitute teacher probably didn't, unless she substituted that class before. But that doesn't mean she had a relationship. She wasn't the regular teacher.
And I'll add, when I went to that behavioral health conference, they talked about how cyberbullying basically stayed the same, but school bullying increased 2 to 3 times. So the teachers are getting the blunt of it. I'm not denying that it is. What I'm saying is we need a systemic intervention as to how to handle these kids that's coming from home, parents who probably ain't got no sense, coming into these schools projecting whatever they got going on. I think the girl's reaction was over the top. She ain't have to flip out like that over the phone. I agree.
Well, and that's what Miss Nika said. She said, I have all of the kids, too many things happen before it got there. And she's saying the same thing you're saying.
Yeah. There was ways to de-escalate before it got there. There absolutely was. And that child's triggers are important because they could be coming from a chaotic home. They could be coming from a chaotic home. They could be coming from abuse themselves. Anything, a plethora of things could be happening, but we ignore, like Shug said, that teachers have triggers too. Everybody has triggers. Everybody has something that'll set them off. So I'm just saying there's so much nuance in this situation. We shouldn't be celebrating any part of it. We shouldn't be celebrating a teenager bucking up against a teacher. We shouldn't be celebrating a teacher who did not know how to de-escalate, which substitute teachers at this point, they're not even trained. I can go substitute teach right now where I am with no education background because they're suffering getting substitute teachers to come into these schools. So you don't have to have anything to be a substitute teacher.
Well, that's why she just said we should stop putting we have to stop putting anyone in front of kids.
Exactly.
But mental health wise, I feel like before you become a substitute teacher, before you become a cop, before you get put in these positions of power, do they always do background checks mentally?
No, they check your criminal record. Long as you're not an offender and a felon, you can be a teacher.
And for cops, they do, because a lot of people always ask, well, why aren't they tested? Why aren't they psych tested? They are psych tested, but it doesn't determine future behavior.
Yeah,
it doesn't determine that, and a lot of people get confused about that. But anyway, I was hot about the situation for the last couple of days, so I'm sorry that I'm getting escalated. You know, I just care about kids, and I care about our community and our Black girls and how they being treated. I'm not saying she was right. I ain't even saying the teacher was, right either. I'm just saying, like, it was just a sad moment to see our community celebrating that, and I don't like that, especially with the Ralph Yarl situation.
Point. We can talk about that too. Point of that too. The teacher just wasn't prepared to be a teacher, because I don't know if I'm going to no school with no drawers on and a short dress. Like, you already showing that you don't know how to come into this situation.
Somebody said she probably had on a thong, but Sis's ass was out.
A thong is still bad for a teacher wearing a skirt to school, but that's just me. Like, Elijah said, I remember growing up and my neighbors across the street were frequent substitute teachers. The librarian lived down the street, and I saw another teacher in church on Sunday. The community was there, so I couldn't act up anywhere. That's my point. The village. We don't have that anymore. And part of the reason we don't have it is because you have a lot of parents who like, don't say nothing to my child. Don't you put your hands on my child. Don't you say nothing to my. If you don't want nobody saying nothing to your child, then ma'am, homeschool your child, because ain't nobody putting up with foolishness.
The village is a little bit broken, I think, because and one of the reasons the village is broken is because of gentle parenting. Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons why the village is broken.
I don't think that's
that is one of the reasons why the village is broken, because gentle parenting says you have to talk to them kindly, you have to treat them nicely. Meanwhile, you got this, and this is as a teenager, right? So gentle parenting, that gentle working with these teenagers. You're a teacher, you're trying to gentle teach somebody who's been raised in a damn barn. And now when they've been raised in the barn, here they coming at you, and you're supposed to be able to talk them down. They don't speak that language. And that's the thing. Sometimes you have to get on the same level as somebody else. With my kids, I get a good rapport with them. So I know how to speak to them. So I know if little Lucas needs to be talked to, like, listen here, we need to sit down, then I can gentle him. But if I know that there's another person, little Mike, needs to be talked to, like, what now, why would you do something like that? Then I will talk to little Mike in the language that he understands. You can't be running around this.
Gentle parenting should. That's
not like you have a business.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Oh wait, are we freezing?
No, I was finishing my sentence.
You're right. Go ahead.
But that is a part of gentle parenting, because they want you to, and not only parenting, I'm talking about when you're the other adult. So you're talking to these kids. Certain kids can't be treated like that. You have to meet people where they are. Everybody cannot be painted with the same brush. And so if you get somebody and you got to talk to them nicely all the time, but then they coming at you, then how do you rectify that? Or if you're not somebody who's been raised to talk like that all the time. I'm not people pleasing. I'm saying what it is.
I don't think gentle parenting is not that. Gentle parenting is not, I have to be nice and kind and talk sweet and sugarcoat. Gentle, there you can be firm and assertive in gentle parenting. Gentle parenting is literally, I'm not gonna escalate to physically touching you or hitting you. I'm gonna talk to you. You're gonna have consequences. You're gonna learn accountability. Like, people have this idea of gentle parenting that it's permissive parenting, and it's not. That's not
permissive. Okay, permissive parenting is probably what I was looking for. That's better.
Yes,
but with gentle parenting, sometimes people toe the line of permissive parenting because you're not too many. You're not always getting the gentle parent that's not being permissive. And that's what I should have said. I should have said permissive parenting, because the permissive parenting, you get kids that they are allowed to do whatever they want. And then you meet with somebody who really has triggers, and then now they're the culprit, because this permissive child has triggered somebody who's had triggers because they're human. And so that's why I say I shouldn't say gentle. I mean to say permissive.
And honestly, even with gentle parenting, I know it's a funny joke that people float around, but you trying to gentle parent and gentle teach these kids, and they ain't gentle ass kids.
Like, they're not gentle adulting you either.
So I might have to meet you where you are. I might have to talk to you like I need to talk to you like I still live in Niagara Falls, where I came from, and that's how you need to be spoken to. But there's still a way to do that that's not disrespecting that child, because people like to disrespect children too, because they're children. You don't have to disrespect a child. You don't. They deserve respect too. They are human beings. They have autonomy.
But people don't want to hear that. People don't
want to disrespect kids and feel like I can say whatever I want to this child. No, you cannot. No, you can't.
But people don't want to hear that. People want to hear I can treat my child the way I want to because I'm the parent and I'm the boss. That's all they hear.
No.
And it's like, you are raising a whole human being.
You gonna raise that child to do the very thing that you're doing to them, and then wonder why they going off on people in the streets. The problem with this is, when you're not teaching kids accountability, parents who don't know accountability raise children who don't know accountability. So you raising another breed of people who don't know accountability. And then you getting on the internet complaining when you grown, these women ain't accountable, these men ain't accountable. Well, you raised them that way. That's on you.
What one thing that Miss Neek, first of all, Terry is laughing because I said they was raised in a barn.
That's the face I had. Terry, I said, oh God.
It can be correlated to calling them animals, and we don't want to do that. Like,
I ain't calling nobody no animal, but when you was raised like you ain't got the sense God gave a goose, I'm saying it. I'm not gentle adulting y'all. There are too many misconceptions about gentle parenting.
There are a lot of
and that's true. And gentle parenting needs to be unpacked, and it depends on which parent is doing it. But Tashita Antoine said, yes, that is true. You do have to meet people where they are and try to communicate with them. I agree with Auntie Tisha. Thank you. Yeah. You do have to meet people where they are, and I think that if one thing Miss Neek said is they have dignity. They do have dignity. I'm in a program, right, where we teach kids that you are a king, you are a queen. You need to carry yourself as such. How do we de-escalate these situations? How do we talk you through that you don't have to fight every single day? Conflict resolution. That's the program that I teach all the time. Every Friday I teach conflict resolution.
That's your favorite word, and I love it when you say it.
Well, conflict resolution?
Yeah, I love when you say that's been your MO from the beginning.
Yes, it's been conflict resolution. So we're going to try to resolve the conflict so that you don't even get into it before then. Because when you get into it, your body is going to react and can't nobody bring you back. Have you ever tried to tell somebody calm down in the middle of them not being calm?
It don't work.
Right, it don't work.
They just turn around in circles. That's what I started, just turn around in circles.
Oh my God. Yeah, it doesn't work to try to tell somebody to de-escalate once it's already escalated. You done went past that point. And it's just, I love this comment that Jessica put up too.
Let me see, Jessica.
Oh wait, that's Tashita saying kids deserve respect. A lot of people really equate accountability with punishment and justice with vengeance. Yes,
I like that.
Yes.
Ooh, Jessica.
You gotta read this down.
Better say it, Jessica. Accountability is not punishment. It's not just punishment. We have to realize that holding somebody accountable is trying to help them grow, especially teenagers. They need to understand there are consequences to every action. There are consequences to every word you say. And justice doesn't have to be vengeance. I got to get back at you. Like, that's not what it is, but that's what these kids learn. And you also have to consider that a lot of kids, and not just Black kids, but a lot of kids, when they are coming from chaotic situations, they are in survival mode 24/7. Survival mode causes you.
That's what Miss Nika's talking about. When a child's dignity is compromised, they become reactive. And that's what I was saying, is that, remember, reactive children who's not been taught turn into reactive adults.
Exactly. And teachers can be as young as what? You can become a teacher at 21, 22. You just out of your brain still ain't formed. We've talked about the prefrontal lobe. You still might be super reactive, and you never learned emotional regulation. You never learned any of that, because you can be academically smart and emotionally jacked up.
I can agree that a lot of people, maybe a lot of adults, don't understand what emotional regulation is. And let's just say, back to the teacher and the teenager fighting, she may not have known, the teacher may not have known how to do emotional regulation skills. She may not have had them. But I hope that she learned from the situation, not to put her, if whatever comes out of it, I hope she learns from this and not put her career on the line just to get in a struggle with the kid whose prefrontal cortex is not all the way developed and is impulsive.
Latory said they need a mandatory course like that in school, how to de-escalate a situation. I 100% wholeheartedly agree. And that's what these school counselors are supposed to be doing, but they don't. And that's the thing. So what I've learned, because I get all up in arms about school counselors, is that a lot of times their hands are bound by what the principal wants to do.
Yep.
And so they can't do everything that they want to do. But I throw out the flag on that, because I refuse to believe, if you go up to a principal and say, hey, let's teach anti-bullying, let's teach how to de-escalate a situation, let's have an assembly. They always want to have an assembly for something. That I think that, and that Ms. Nick said, no, they aren't. That's what I've been hearing. Okay, that I've been hearing that they are regulated by the principal. I don't know a principal that will say, no, we're not teaching any of that. I think it's laziness. And I think it's you got a job and you're in it, and it's like, okay, I'm just here to do IEPs or to do 504 plans. And the job as a school counselor has to be more than that. And that's not speaking for all school counselors, because some people probably do more. But in the school counseling that I've been seeing lately, I am very unimpressed.
I think we have to consider here too, when it comes to principal, like you said, no principal is gonna say no to that. We don't know that anymore. You got
nowadays.
Yeah, you got whole states where they like, you ain't allowed to teach this in school, so they might be against it. No, we don't need that in our schools. We don't need it. Like, they won't, in certain schools down south, they still teach in abstinence only instead of an actual sex education class. So you do have principals who will be like, nope, don't want to teach that, don't want to touch on it.
Ms. Nick says somebody get her a mic. Does that mean you want to come on and say yes or no?
Say yes.
We can see you to leave.
You can come on through.
I also think it depends on funding as well. A lot of these state legislators are pulling funding out of public schools, which means that they don't even have schools counselors even there, or they have the one, and they're so overburdened by how many kids they have to deal with. So I do agree that does need to be a course in there. It's just, how do we get the funding? And if the people who are dispersing these funds believe in the same ideals and beliefs that our children and our teachers do need, like social emotional learning.
Yo, Venetia's comment is spot on. A lot of times it's the district that isn't run by educators. Most superintendents don't even have a classroom background.
That is true.
Yes. In our hometown, our school board, I'm going to tell you right now, our school board in the district, it's nepotism. People get in because of their family. And I'm not afraid to say that. In Niagara Falls, people get in positions because of their family members, because they know somebody. It has nothing to do with their quality, their background, none of that. And if you have people in the positions, in higher positions, making decisions for schools who have no connection to education, they don't know. They just making the decision they think is right. They're not even asking for help on the decision.
Mm-hmm. And the reason why I said that about counselors is because my daughter was bullied in school, and I had hell trying to get them to leave her alone. And I had to call the school and be like, do y'all need somebody to put on an anti-bullying class, or do we have to wait? One of my patients actually suicided because of bullying. But there's school counselors there. Mm-hmm. That's not what they're supposed to be doing. And then I was taught that the hands are tied by the principal. So now there's a campaign because somebody's kid is not coming home because their hands are tied by the principals. I call BS. I just
That
think that,
happened in Colorado. That happened in
Mm-hmm.
Colorado too. I asked the assistant principal because my son was dealing with some racism in school, little boys being racist. And I said, "Do you want me to come in and talk to the students about racism?" And he was like, "I personally think that would be great, but they're not gonna let it fly. I have to get that past the principal and the district, and they are not gonna let that happen. They're gonna say that they're too young to learn about racism in an age appropriate way. No, they're not. But they
But
want
but is that not the school counselor's job?
they ain't gonna let the school counselor teach it.
That's why I was saying. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. People get so squeamish. Listen, when I talk, I talk for real. People get very squeamish when I say that, but I'm like, I'm not coming for everybody. If that's the job you're doing, then hey, I ain't talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to learn how to de-escalate situations. And where's the mental health provider to work with teachers and administrators? Because that's a trying position.
Thank you.
Those are trying positions.
Not only trying, but it can be very depressing. Some of those kids do get close to their teachers, and you get to hear the stories of what they're dealing with at home. And I'm sorry, my heart would break. I would need to talk to somebody. I would need to talk to somebody on a regular basis to process through hearing children's trauma all the time.
That's what I hear all the time. All the time. Kids be going through it, okay? Kids be going through it.
Right. What were you about to say, Auntie Amber? We ain't let her get in, y'all.
Sorry.
Look, every time I get ready to say something, somebody else hops in and says it. So I'm like, all right. No, I was gonna say that I do know that school systems are offering like more intensive counseling services, and it could be covered by insurance. I know for sure it's in Virginia. I don't know what other states it is, but it's called a therapeutic day treatment program. And this is where they get like counseling services throughout the school day at any point that they want, or someone comes in and pulls them out of class to talk to them about things that are happening at home, learn different coping skills to deal with it. So they do have something that's a little more than the school counselor, and it's an actual program that they can get access to through insurance. I just don't know how many schools have it or how many districts have it, but it's an awesome program. And I hope it spreads across the US.
This is for the teachers?
Amber? No, for the students.
Oh, okay, for the students.
Yeah.
I know Ohio, as raggedy as Ohio is, our governor did sign some more additional funding for social emotional learning. So as an early childhood interventionist, I get to go into schools and consult with them about classrooms that may be very disruptive, or maybe a particular student that's disruptive. So I do know that's going on in Ohio at least.
Yeah, and I only mentioned that because y'all were talking about like learning about de-escalation and all of that, and that is something that's a resource that they have where they can call the TDT counselor to come to the classroom, and it's a completely different role than like the behavior specialist that you would typically see that does the plans and stuff, but they'll come to the classroom and help the teacher de-escalate that particular child because they have that rapport, they have that relationship with them, and they're able to do that. So whatever situation y'all are talking about earlier, if that kid had a TDT counselor, that might have been helpful because they would have known that kid personally and been able to help them regulate to avoid whatever the situation was.
Yeah. They have a licensed therapist at my daughter's high school. That's something that they implemented there. Other than a school counselor, there's an actual licensed therapist in that school to talk to these kids.
Yeah. And I don't know the background of school counselors. Like, I don't know them to have like mental health background. Or is that a guidance counselor? Is that the same thing?
School counselors have some of the same classes that we do, but not all.
Okay.
So we do have Miss Neek. She's coming on. This is my sister.
Silly.
This is my sister. She's ridiculous, but she is coming on, and it's nice to be able to have an expert in the field actually. And now she's no longer a teacher, but she's assistant principal as of this year. So thank you for
Hey.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear what you have to say.
Hold on, I'm on the clinical cookout, y'all. Oh, yeah. Y'all do such a good job. Okay, I'm ready.
All right, Tab, tell us what you're thinking here. As an assistant principal, how are you looking at all this?
Okay, so I heard so many things, so many good perspectives. But when you go into the field of education, you're basically saying, I'm going to follow the mission and the vision of this school district. Whatever that is, that's what you signed up for. So when you go into the classrooms and you have these students who have all of these different experiences. You can't let you're supposed to be an emotionally regulated adult. But like you said, that's not always the case. But so going into the classroom, we're talking about 7-year-olds, we're talking about 9-year-olds. Of course they're impulsive. You knew that when you took the job. That's why first and foremost, you must build relationships. So when you build those relationships, not to say you're not going to have those students who are outliers, but you learn them. You learn their triggers. You learn when to back off. A lot of people go on power trips, not just educators, but people in general. So I'm the adult. You're going to do what I say. And then guess what? Those students have peers. So when their dignity is compromised, I either have to show them who I have to talk to at recess or after school that I'm no punk or this teacher's going to do this. Or, when they get in there, you know how kids talk. Kids are cruel sometimes. So now you left them in a situation where as the adult, you should be able to, okay, let me call for backup. Let me, de-escalate, but that doesn't always happen. So, and then for school counselors, there's so many different, that's run by the board. That's run by the school division, not really the principal in a sense, because principals are given different directions. Okay, do this at this school, but then at that school, this is allowed. So they want to be in classrooms. They want to be able to have those social emotional learning sessions with the students, but they are not always able to. So a lot of times we're at the hands of the parents, we're at the hands of the board. A lot of big people inside of the school are just looking. Teachers are looking directly at their classroom. Administrators needs to have the bird eye view, where they see everything and the way everything is working, and know their teachers. It's my job to be in classroom and to know my teachers. When I see things, I have to do something immediately. I have to be proactive. And then the district is looking even higher. So we have to respect each person's decision making. Mm-hmm. And it becomes hard when you're in the thick of it. There has been some kids in the classroom. When I was a teacher, a child jump on my back. We need to be trained to restrain these students. Everybody is not trained. And then you have to do it a certain way or.
Dang it. How we lose tab?
Well, it's okay. There you go.
So, I mean, I have so many, y'all have a lot of good perspectives, but it is really hard to say the child is wrong. Not that the child is not wrong. Yes, some kids know, they know, right? But as the adult, we should know better as well. Mm-hmm. And so we're in the school system because we're with the kids more than the parents are with kids. Mm-hmm. So somewhere in the school system, somebody failed somewhere along the line.
Yep.
So whose fault is it? The kids? No, they don't have the tools.
That's what I said, Tab. I said, you got a lot of good people like to come down on teachers when situations like this happen. But I know plenty of teachers who love these kids like they are their own. They really love these students and they try their best to do what they can and they go above and beyond. My mother.
Then there's the students that don't. Then there's the teachers that don't. They do exist.
Yeah.
Bad teachers they don't. They exist and they need to be out.
Exactly.
But,
yeah. So Tab, I do have a question. Mm-hmm. Ashley just said, I actually just got asked to do a mental aid first class for teachers. And I do agree, Ashley, it is very needed. Is that like something that you have seen done in schools? You've worked in multiple schools.
Yes, I've seen it done for teachers. Not done well. Like we have EAP. So it's for employees. You get so many sessions that you can tap into. A lot of employees don't know about it, but we do have those things for mental health. But I also know that they think that, well, you're an adult as well, so you have to go out and seek those services. Like we're over here telling kids what to do and how to get this. And when parents come in, what do? We give them resources, go see this counselor. Well, we have to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But in your position, you go ahead.
EAP seems to be more protection for after, a lot of times, in my experience, for after something happens.
No, like, we can use it at any time. Like we're told that you can go, you need it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Employee assistance program.
I've had EAP clients and they often come when they're going through something and it might be affecting their work. It's not proactive, it's reactive. Like my work is being affected by the situation I'm going through at home or something. So I'm coming to these EAP sessions that my job offers. And it's usually like anywhere from 5 to maybe 8 sessions. Mm-hmm. And I mean, brief counseling is a thing, but a lot of times people who've never been to therapy, they got a lot to unpack to really get to the meat of everything. So 8 sessions is not always enough, but that's all they have.
Right. Yeah. Agreed.
Yo, I swear, Elijah and Ashley got real problems.
Who's Mr. Clark?
You remember Mr. Clark on Lean on Me? He wouldn't
lean on me, Keish.
That's who y'all talking about.
Where's the Joe Clark at? Actually,
hey, that is an example of what you talk about when you talk about Suge, like meeting people where they are. He knew where his students was. He knew where they came from, and that's how you talk to him to get him.
No, y'all would have been up in there like, let me gentle teach you.
No, but I still think y'all had some gentleness. There was gentleness. It was just repackaged. That's all.
He was firm.
He was firm.
He said what he meant, and he meant what he said.
He was firm. He was very firm, and I think Joe Clark.
Mr. Clark was not. He was not gentle. He told that boy, "Don't you smoke? You might as well jump off this roof right now.
You smoke crack, don't you? You smoke crack, don't you? You might as well jump.
Don't you smoke crack?"
But like you said, meet people where they are. He wouldn't have understood. Well, come on, let's try to stop smoking crack. Crack is addictive. That's true. He needed to know your life is at stake. You could die. You might as well end it all now. He talked to him the way he needed to be talked to.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
He just repackaged it. That's all. It was just a remix on that. Skirt. That's all.
I feel like y'all about to take my black card.
You ain't never seen Lean on Me. You know what, Amber?
I gave her a list of movies to watch a long time ago. I'm not even
Amber, you are lying.
I feel like I seen part of it.
You ain't seen it.
Is that the basketball movie?
Oh, shut up, Amber.
No, okay.
Get off here.
Take it.
Your time is done.
Jesus, it's over.
Okay, wait. Is it Samuel L. Jackson? Who's in this
movie? It's Morgan Freeman. Fair East Side.
Okay, I ain't never seen it.
She ain't never seen it.
You ain't never seen Lean on Me? That's like a staple in the black community.
No, because y'all talking about it. I'm like, they really about to take my black card when I say this. Like, they about to strip it away.
Why, Amber? The people in town is dumb.
Shut up, Venetia.
I thought it was
y'all know I'm the baby, okay? Leave me alone.
You ain't that young. But Joe Clark got results, and those kids end up loving him. They fought for him at the end because they knew.
You know why? Because kids want and need to be parented. They need the structure. So if you think about it, people react whenever you give them structure. You think that they will hate you, but mentally, their minds are not formed. So teach me. That's why people learn so well. Teach me. I need you to show me. And think about how many kids. Maybe that girl. And I'm just going to use this as an example because we already been talking about it. Who knows what she goes through at home? Yeah. Maybe she was so reactive to everything because you don't have to act like that because somebody took your phone. That's a very gross overreaction to somebody taking your phone, but let's let the phones brainwash these kids too.
You know what somebody said that was interesting about that? She said, when I was in school and had a cell phone, my mother literally told me, if you lose or break that phone, you're going to be in trouble. So now I'm scared. Please don't take my phone. Like, I need to go home with my phone or my mother is going to flip out on me. Like, that could be it too.
Hold on. I'm going to get the sheet in a second. Elijah said that's going to have to be another episode to address movies that are mandatory and adults who haven't seen them. Now he got trauma.
You done traumatized my husband because you ain't seen Lean on Me.
Well, y'all, look, I just Googled it too, just to see if I done seen it. I was like,
I don't know why I'm laughing because there's some ones I ain't seen. So let me.
Hey, look, y'all like to blame the parents. Blame my parents, okay?
It's their fault. It's their parents' fault. I was gonna joke on Keish when I thought she hadn't seen the 5 heartbeats, but she caught herself. She seen it.
I did. Thank you.
She should be having on her blonde wig sometimes. She be seeing these movies. Oh my God. Okay. Definitely teachers, counselors, and all who are in the school system need training on how to properly de-escalate difficult situations in the classroom settings and need counseling on different types of life situations. Trauma involving sexual, drug, alcohol abuse, grief counseling sessions to be able to help out our kids if it's in the budget, or take these ideas to the school superintendents.
Or like Tab, you can answer this because you went to college for education. Do they even teach that in the master's programs that somebody would have to go to become a teacher? Like, do they have courses like that? That should be
they have some courses, but it doesn't encompass everything.
Right.
But once you're in school, there's a lot of courses that you do take. We always have to continue learning. So we have professional developments all the time, but a lot of times, a lot of districts, they don't cover a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, and they don't. And a lot of kids do experience that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with kids who was like literally witnessed like the death of a family member and got to school and was acting out, and teachers didn't know what was going on. Like, so you discipline these kids and not knowing that they've been exposed to traumatic situations. And like the girl we talking about, we don't know if something happened to her right before that. We don't know.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Ashley made a good point. DeWitt is somebody that we know from home. The kid that disrespected DeWitt, he was all Mr. Dawson, never tried it again. That's another thing. Black male educators. Some of the for the kids who don't have a positive male figure in their life, a black male teacher is crucial. So if they don't try, in general, kids don't try men the way that they try women. That's just period, point blank. That she would not have done that to a male teacher, I don't think.
No.
Okay.
Well, especially not a black male teacher.
I want to go back to this comment because, so is she saying that the teachers need to be trained in trauma involving these types of abuses and grief counseling and all of that? Is that what she's saying?
She's saying, it looked like she's saying all of them, teachers, counselors. Hold on.
Because if she's saying teachers, I don't think that like having specific trainings in these things is necessary. I feel like that, first of all, teachers are already underpaid. But I feel like maybe a course on like behavior, how certain things can present in behavior with children would suffice. But being trained specifically on these different types of trauma, different types of abuse, grief counseling, things like that, that takes it out of the scope of being a teacher, and then combines to like being a teacher and a counselor in the classroom, and that takes away from the academics. So I would go ahead.
She meant education, like just learning.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think she meant education and like just learning about all of that, because some people are not even informed. And so if you sit there and you have a training with somebody, so not like teaching them to be in that role, but teaching them like Keisha said, awareness,
the basics,
and like
Okay, that's why I was confused, because she said grief counseling sessions, and I'm like, I don't think a teacher need to be learning all of that. Like that's too much for them.
They don't get paid enough to do all that.
Yeah.
So where I'm located at, they do something called Handle with Care. So basically, it just alerts the school that if something happens to a student, nobody asks any questions, but they alert the teachers, telling them specifically to teach this child and handle them with care for the day. They don't say what happened. They just say handle this child with care. So I thought that was a great way to kind of like not put the teacher in the business, but know that something may have happened and this student's behavior may be out of the norm.
I think you did tell us about that before, where they was that you that talked to us about that? Somebody said that they'll send a note, handle with care.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm taking that.
You know what's interesting?
I'm going to use it. I like it.
Everybody here has named something in the area they're in or a school that they've worked in that's being implemented to try to fix the problems. But it's getting it on that macro scale. Like, why isn't all the things y'all talking about implemented in every single school system across the country? Like, why is that so difficult to care for our children? It's like you want the children here. You're trying to ban certain things so people have to bring children into this world, but you don't want to care for them once they're here.
Because we don't talk about mental health in schools. We talk about education, and that's mostly it. And mental health, let's be honest, our community is just now riding this mental health wave.
I was just about to say it. There has been a shift, though. There has been a shift, and mental health is big now, where it wasn't. And a lot of teachers who's been teaching for a long time, they're like, oh wow, here's a lollipop, go sit down. Like they don't want to hear that. I've been teaching for 2+ years, and like you feel with the permissive that parenting, that they feel this is a joke. You're taking away all of our power. But there is a shift that's happening in education now.
You know, that's interesting to consider the generations of teachers, because there was a time I saw a video, a guy was talking about this. He was like, what happened in that classroom would not have happened when I was in school. It just would not have happened. We had some kids that had behavioral problems, but even they knew just how far to take it. So it's a generation. So when you got a teacher, let's say that's been teaching 30 years, when they started teaching, they didn't see all this. They didn't have all these problems. Now there's been an increase in behavioral issues among kids. I just saw an APA statistic about that. And they're like, we never had to deal with this. A lot of teachers retire because they're like, nope, it's getting to be too much for me. I'm out. I quit.
I don't think any behavior happens in isolation, though. And I believe that back then there were still issues. It was just different issues. Let's not act like the crack era didn't exist and kids weren't out here running rampant back in the 70s because they weren't.
True.
Like, and since you said let's not act like the crack era exists, now let's not act like the crack era kids are some of the crack era parents.
Ooh, you right.
I just be saying it out loud.
You right. You right. That's why I said some of these parents.
That's it.
They don't know. And people don't want to be told anything. We live in a society now where people don't want to be told anything. They know everything. My way is the right way. It's like, take some suggestions. Take some suggestions so you can know a better way. Be open to that.
Ashley said, I'm thinking educators need more on courses on emotional intelligence. I teach a lot of that at work. And that seems to be effective, but case management is different than teaching. Agreed.
Right. And if the teachers don't want to learn it like themselves, they can call people like us as clinicians that can go into the schools, partner with the mental health clinicians in your community that can come in and do these webinars for you, come in and do these workshops if it's paid for. Like, we are willing to do that. And some of us can do that pro bono. Like,
but on whose time?
What do you mean? What you mean by
because
that?
Teachers already, listen, go ahead, Tab.
Tab, because she was like, yes, on whose time?
I was wondering, how does that partnership work? Because it's bigger than me saying, yes, you can come in here, and work with these teachers. We're going to do it not during the school day.
I know that.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know that there's professional development days, and I don't know if that's a day that will be, feasible for school districts for someone to come in and, speak about it on the day that they don't have distractions with the school, maybe an hour, keeping it very, strict. And sometimes maybe it doesn't even have to be them coming into the school. We could do this online because we do got Zoom. So we could have a Saturday course where it's only a day, or people sign up, so that way it's pre-planned ahead. It doesn't have to be something like willy-nilly and they got all of a sudden a 10 and now I got to shift everything around. No, I think it'd be, obviously it could work if it's a,
that would work. The school district here, every last Wednesday of the month is a half day, and it's a developmental day for the teachers. They stay the full day, but the kids get out at 11. And so that would be a day where it's like, okay, we're going to have this course today. Y'all got to be here anyway. We're going to bring this person in to talk to y'all about this.
But guess what? The district going higher, they're so worried about the curriculum. This isn't yes, it's new, but it's not coming before that math curriculum or that new literacy. Wait a minute. What are we using this half day for? I agree that we have to switch it, because if our basic needs aren't met, as well as the students, then they're not going to learn the reading. They're not going to learn the math. However, when those half-day professional development come, we're looking at data, which is all important. However, you have to make time. Just how we don't have a choice for teaching reading or math or science or social studies, this should not be an option.
Right. I think that's why leadership is important. Who is the person that's leading these decisions, and how much do they care about their students, the whole student, not just part of the student.
Yes. The whole student concept is amazing. But listen, y'all, we only got 3 more minutes. So does anybody have any more questions, comments?
We always get on live and stick to one topic and we just be going with it.
Well, we never have had somebody want to actually come on.
I know, Tab, you our first guest on live.
Hey. I got excited. I appreciate that.
And listen, for y'all that's watching, anybody can come on the live. We are here for that. Come on if you got something to say. Tab will probably be back.
Listen, Mr. Sheeta she came up in here, Ashley Green, and always in Venetia. Venetia ain't gonna come on, but I know the other ones, they got some things to talk about.
All right,
Elijah.
Oh Lord.
Well, I'm gonna make sure that I go watch Lean on Me this weekend, like Ashley said. I'm gonna go watch it, and then we're gonna talk about it.
You just made our viewers question everything about you at this point. They got
I big question. I ain't trying to hear nothing. I told her, was it 2018 we stayed together, Keish? I was like, why haven't y'all seen these movies? I made a list.
I think there was one that I didn't see and you got on me, shit, but I can't remember.
Not Venetia taking her bonnet off.
Shut
Shut up, Venetia.
Stop putting it on at 6 o'clock.
I'm trying to figure out what y'all have. Have you seen The Color Purple?
Yes.
Thank God. What's love got to do with it?
Yes.
She probably wasn't allowed to watch it when she was younger because those movies was vulgar, but we was raised in a barn. And that's what we was able to watch.
I told y'all my dad was real. Well, he wasn't super strict, but there was just certain movies that he wouldn't let me watch, especially anything related to slavery. Like Color Purple, I didn't get to watch that till I was older. He just didn't like me watching those movies.
Color Purple wasn't even about slavery. They was out of slavery.
Excuse me, Elijah. My potato salad is actually bomb, so don't play with me. I'm still black. I'm still black. I just missed that one movie, okay? Mind your business.
Blackfish.
Ain't no raisins in this potato salad, okay?
No, we ain't sure if it's the one movie, Amber, because Suge said it was a list of movies before, so we don't even know.
Okay, I have not seen Cooley High.
Now he really about to be, and now he really not going to be
Cooley High.
I haven't seen Cooley High.
Thank you, Keish. Thank you, Suge.
I've never even seen Roots. I don't even know.
Nah, I actually have seen Roots.
Ain't nobody gonna watch the show no more.
I think at that moment in 2018 is when I snatched her card.
I think I said that.
You snatched my card when you saw how I eat chicken.
Oh, she don't eat all of her chicken, y'all. She leave chicken on the bone. She don't.
Amber doesn't eat all her chicken.
That was the first time she snatched it, and then it just went from there.
It needed to keep.
But I'm still black, proud, beautiful, gorgeous, intelligent, all black, melanin, all of that.
We just
need her
to be our director. We just need her for editing. We really need her because I don't know.
Yeah, y'all leave her alone. We really need her. But no, okay. So I'm glad that Amber did say that because I think that next live or even one of our episodes. So if you guys have anything to say about some episodes that you want to see or things that you want to see talked about or things that you actually want to talk about, then let us know. And one of the things that she did say is I'm black, I'm beautiful, I'm intelligent. We did want to talk about the fakery in life that has people going to go get their booties done and their breasts done and their things that they were not born with added because they don't think that they're beautiful. If you want to do it, okay. But we always like to talk about the why. Do you think that you're not beautiful? So that is another conversation that we will be having.
We'll do
I can't wait for that one.
As you are conversation. That could be the title of that theme. As you are.
Yes, but next week we are starting our first themed week. It is natural hair. Do you love your natural hair? That's not the name of it.
Your mental health. How does it affect your mental health?
So everything we drop next week is going to be related to natural hair and how it affects your mental health. And y'all make sure y'all tune in for our episode next week also.
Elijah, we're not sure what this symbolism means. What is that?
No, the symbolism mean we got to go. He said we did. It's that we is that.
Is that a skull? I couldn't.
Yeah, that's a skull.
He talking about me probably because me and him we're gonna fight.
Oh, he mad at you about Cooley High. Trust and believe.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Auntie Keisha Roots.
Not bad, girl.
Y'all.